Hey lovelies, it's so nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. I wanted, so you can see I'm wearing my cute little beauty ears today. So I have super cute ears so that you'll pay attention. Are you paying attention? Shiny, 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 shiny. All right, so now that I have your attention, I want to talk to you about an awesome boss lady that I think is just absolutely amazing. When I say boss, I mean badass women of history and science. This week's boss is Lauren Wasser, and she is a model. She's not a plus size model, but she's the girl with the golden legs. So she is a differently abled model. She has two prosthetic legs that are gold, and they are freaking awesome. And she's walked down runways with them, and she is also doing her part to make sure that women don't incur the same thing that she did. She lost her legs from, I believe, the knee down due to toxic shock syndrome. If you don't know what toxic shock syndrome is, it is the syndrome that can happen when women wear tampons. It can happen if you wear a tampon for too long. It can also happen if you just have a reaction to the chemicals in tampons. So you might not know that your tampons contain chemicals like bleach and tons of other things that, in all honesty, there are things in tampons that we just don't know about because tampon companies aren't required to disclose every chemical they put in the tampons. So you could be allergic to something or have a reaction to something and get very, very sick. In every tampon package, there is a pamphlet about TSS, and you definitely want to read that. So if you start feeling not well after wearing a tampon for a little while, and you definitely want to know what the symptoms are. So it's in every pamphlet. But Lauren Wasser also went to New York. She went to New York Fashion Week, but she also met with a New York congresswoman, and they are trying to pass what's called the Robin Danielson Act. Now, this act is really important because it would require companies that make tampons to disclose what chemicals they use and to disclose everything that's going into the product. You have a right as a person, as any person, to know what you're putting inside your body. These are products we use all the time for many years, for decades at a time sometimes. It's super important that you know and understand what is going into those products. So make sure that you contact your congressman or congresswoman, email them, and let them know that you support the Robin Danielson Act and that you care about the things that go into your feminine hygiene products and that's important to you. It's really important because some women have passed away. We don't know how many women because the government doesn't keep tabs on it. The thing is, you can only see what you measure. It's really important that we start measuring the harm that is done to women by products and by toxic shock syndrome. It's actually been an epidemic for over 30 years before I or Lauren was born. It's super important that people understand that we need to protect women from these types of chemicals, from things that will actually harm them and will cause lasting harm and can even cause death. So it's really important that you contact your congressperson, contact your congressperson, contact your state representatives, contact everyone and tell them about the Robin Danielson Act. Also, this is a really great opportunity to support someone who's different than the majority, than the norm of what we see in fashion. As plus size people, we are constantly saying that representation is key and that we absolutely deserve the spotlight. The same thing is true for straight size women who have differently abled bodies. So Lauren is just as deserving as being on a runway as anyone else. Just like Tess Holliday is just as deserving of being on a runway as anyone else. Because we exist. Women with disabilities exist. Women who are, or differently abled, if you prefer. Some people who are differently abled prefer disabled. Some people prefer differently abled, so I will use both. And let me know in the comments down below what you prefer if you are differently abled. Also, this is an opportunity for us to support other women. I think oftentimes people can kind of break off into groups and camps and say like, oh, this is the plus size community, this is the straight size community, and this is, we don't, those two things don't mix. Of course they do. We're all women, we're all humans, we should all be here to support each other, and we should think that every single iteration of person is beautiful because they are. And I want to see people who are differently abled. I want to see people of color. I want to see people different body types. I want to see women over 30. You don't disappear as a woman if you are over the age of 30. You are valid and beautiful and wonderful, and you deserve to be seen. So, in closing, I know this was a little bit preachy today, but it's really, really important that you know how to protect yourself and how to protect the people around you. I will link down below to some facts about toxic shock syndrome, and make sure that I get it from a really good source, probably the CDC or anything that I can get my hands on. I think it's so important, and I think that I would be remiss if I didn't let you know what I had learned, and just thank you so much. And I will also link the video of Lauren Wasser and her awesome video on Vogue down below. Thanks so much, lovelies, for sticking with me, and thanks so much for being here. I love every single one of you. I hope you're having an amazing day,